Hello, my name is Rylan. I'm 16 years old and I go to Oak Bay High School. Currently, in my English 11 class with Mr. Mackenzie, we are studying Shakespeare, and more specifically, a Scottish play called Macbeth. Macbeth is a play about a loyal Cawdor who betrays and kills his king after being forced by 3 witches and his wife. He rises quickly to power and kills whoever in his way to keep it. But Macbeth's fall is just as quick as his rise, and in the end he perishes at the hand of a knight named Macduff. William Shakespeare was alive 400 years ago. Therefore, we don't know too much about his life other than the plays, poems, and books he's written. We don't even know his actual birth date, but we can make a pretty good guess based upon the day he was baptized, which was April 26, 1564, 100 miles northwest of London. Now, the question is, why is a man born 452 years ago still being so meticulously studied by the entire world? Shakespeare uses timeless themes and emotions that haven't changed from 400 years ago and are still relevant in this day and age. Not only that, but he was a literary genius. His vocabulary was somewhere around 29,000 words, whereas a high school student graduate has about 10,000 in their vocabulary. Shakespeare grew up in Stratford, London with his mother and father, Mary and John, and his 3 younger brothers, Gilbert, Richard, and Edmund, and 3 younger sisters, Anne, who died at 7, Joan, and Margaret. I'm guessing William took this picture. Shakespeare attended Stratford's grammar school. Like most schools back then, it focused intensively on Latin literature, which included memorization, writing, and acting classic Latin plays. Shakespeare attended this school until about the age of 15. At the age of 18, Shakespeare married a 26-year-old woman named Anne Hathaway, whom grew up in a small town outside Stratford called Shottery. In 1582, they had their first daughter Susanna, and in 1585 they had twins, Hamnet and Judith. Shakespeare's only son, Hamnet, died at 11 years old in 1596 from what's suspected to be the bubonic plague. People that had this disease either were dragged out into the street when they died or just enjoyed dying in courtyards. Shakespeare, at this point in his career, was already a busy man who had to work in London without his family. This was rumored to make Shakespeare's relationship with Anne more difficult, but there's really no way of telling. It was in 1593 that Shakespeare was noticed by the public for the first time when he published his poem, Venus and Adonis. After that, for more than 2 decades, Shakespeare had multiple roles in the London theatre as an actor, playwright, and later on, a business partner in a major acting company he made called the Lord Chamberlain's Men, which was later renamed the King's Men in 1603. And, for an earnest of greater honour, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which edition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine. What? Can the devil speak true? This passage is, in my opinion, quite poignant. It takes weird prophecies from strange people and turns them into realities of the future for both Macbeth and Banquo. It's these realities that drive the play with the theme of ambition. 3 wild witches appear out of nowhere to greet the 2 friends after battle. Macbeth asks them if they speak. With that, the first thing they say is that Macbeth will become Thane of Cawdor and later king. Macbeth is speechless at the odd predictions they make. Banquo then asks for the 3 strange women to predict his future, in which they reply, lesser than Macbeth and greater. Not so happy, yet much happier. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. With that abnormal prediction, both Banquo and Macbeth are quite intrigued by what the witches are and what they have to say. Macbeth begs them to stay, but they vanish into thin air. Banquo and Macbeth look at each other and wonder if it was all just a dream or their imagination. But that idea is quickly dismissed when Ross declares Macbeth as the new Thane of Cawdor. It's at that moment that a spark is ignited, a spark that ignites the ambition in the play, the true realization that what the witches said is the truth.